All right, hello. My name's Jason. I use he, him pronouns. We are here to play a game called Alien from Free Legan. This is session 4 of 5 of a scenario called The Hunt. This game is part of the Gauntlet online community. We're a bunch of gamers that play games online. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. You can go to YouTube, put in Gauntlet RPG. You find lots and lots of actual plays, all kinds of different games. Check us out, see how we play. Check out our play culture. We're going to get right into it real quick today, but first, let's just go around the table. And today, just introduce yourself and your character with their pronouns, your pronouns and their pronouns. And Jamie's back with us today, so I think we'll pick on them first. Jamie, tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, so Jamie, they, them pronouns. I'm playing Sitka, and let's see, poor Sitka, she uses she, her pronouns. She felt that she had a lot to prove. And I think this whole time she's just been having horrible dreams of her past. I think that's going to sort of mimic what's been happening a bit. So far, Sitka has just relived being a child running away from something.
Okay. And Alan?
My name is Alan. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Bryant, also he, him. Bryant is the captain of Darius Park's private yacht, and also his brother-in-law.
Okay.
And is a generally nice guy.
And Will?
Sorry, I lost the ability to unmute myself by resizing my windows. Yeah, I'm playing Noah, who is basically Darius's personal doctor / drug dealer for helping him deal with all those emotions that his Marine Corps has not prepared him for. And I think that Bryant is an asshole, but because I'm pretty sure that the feeling is mutual as far as Noah's concerned.
Right. It's worth letting Jamie know that originally Bryant had you as his rival, but now Bryant's changed that to Noah. So good news and bad news. And then Paul, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Paul, he, him, and I'm playing Darius, the multi-million billion pound heir, or dollar heir, or whatever the currency is. Yeah, and I sort of hold the group together, or maybe fragment the group. Not too sure what I'm doing. But yeah, killing aliens. That's what we're doing.
All right. So let's set the scene where we left off. We'll get Jamie into the action real quick. So you guys had ran across, let me actually get to the map. That'll make it easier. You guys ran across this field, past the landing zone to this hangar, and right down here. And there were burnt out trucks in this field. There were little pools of blood, or big pools of blood. There was a dead one of those nasty flyer things that Jamie dreamed up for us. One of those was dead on the ground. One of the trucks was kind of smoldering, not really, maybe flickering a little bit, because there's been this steady rain now for several hours. A sheet of rain coming down on the, and the wind has started to pick up as you reach the door leading into the hangar, and you guys have gone inside to this hangar. And we talked a little bit at the end, but we'll kind of like rewind slightly. So you're coming in, and the hangar is this big open area. It's very high and dark, of course, up in the ceiling. And there's a big drop ship here right in the middle of the hangar. And it's up on a clamp. A clamp's kind of come down and grab it and is suspending it above the ground. And we see Bryant looking at like these mechanics notes that show that this thing has been they had began to replace some of the heat shields on this drop ship, and on the side of it, it says it's in stenciled on the side of it is Hope is the name of the drop ship. And around the hangar, there's various tools and tables and stuff, and we see Kyoko, who has been dragging Sitka around now for quite a while. Kyoko, who's all half melted from acid burns. She's got huge scratches down her back. She looks in pretty rough shape. Like a little bit of like dripping out hydraulic fluid, that white, synthetic alien hydraulic fluids dripping out. You can see some of those wires and little weird tubes that you see in Ash and Alien. I guess you probably see it when Bishop gets ripped up in Aliens also. But anyways, and she goes and she kind of clears off one of these work tables and she lays Sitka down on it. And then Noah, we see him, he's gone over and he's checking out this suitcase looking thing. And he recognizes that it's a remote terminal, a remote uplink terminal. It's used to connect it to a comm tower, and you can use that to fly drop ships, remotely.
Yeah. That's plan B though, isn't it? Because
right.
Plan A is to repair the dropship we have with heat shields, get the tractor from outside to get it out into the open and take off. And until Sitka woke up, all our hopes really lay on Brian.
Right. Yeah, and we see
who has done this many times in the simulator.
Right. How many flights have you done, Brian? 26 simulated. So there's the three guys are kind of like chattering a little bit about like what are we going to do, and like Will said, it's using the uplink terminal to go to the comm tower and call down a drop ship from the space station is plan B. Plan A sounds like just to repair this thing, and like I said, in mechanical terms, it's going to take a shift. It's going to take 5 to 10 hours, and you're going to have to like physically remove the bad shields and put in new ones and set them up just right so everything you don't get damaged as you leave at the atmosphere. And I think it's at that point that Sitka, you like startle awake. You there's a gasp and you like shoot up awake, and like you referenced in your intro, you've been dreaming. And what are your dreams like, do you think? What have you been dreaming about? And they're probably, I think you said like nightmarish sort of dreams.
Yeah. So they're nightmares of me hiding in a closet, hiding in a bed. I know something or someone is coming after me. It looks like an adult. But then I think in the dreams, it starts to shift and take on a more skeletal experience, a harder exoskeleton, maybe a little alien looking, something like that.
Okay. And Kyoko, she's like Noah Emilson, Sitka Ramos, she's awake.
Thank Christ for that. I'm going to go check on her.
Okay.
I'll lean into Kyoko. Tell me if Brian does anything.
Brian leans into Darius and says, we didn't need her.
True. It's always good to have a backup, though.
But it's still you and me, Darius. It's still you and me.
Of course, Brian. Of course. Blood is thicker than water. Always remember that, my friend. Always remember that.
I will go and check on Kyoko and Sitka, and bring her up to speed. And I will convey to her how Brian's been acting super weird. Tried to ditch. We had a whole plan to get across to the hangar, and he tried to ditch us. Luckily nothing came. But if it had come, we would have been cut off. I'm glad you're up, Sitka.
Yeah, and I shake my head. The last thing I remember, why are we in the hangar? What? you said something to cut us off. What are we
Wayland's
running from?
rich guys, right? They're crazy. Wayland's got some sort of xenomorph, like some kind of alien life form that's I don't know, crossbred, mutated with those, you know, the things that were in the brochure, and now they're everywhere. They've got acid for blood. One of them, they got poison on the tails. Each of them is different. They managed to bring down a whole wall, so they're clever as well. We got to watch out, right?
This place is, and you can see Sitka's like really struggling. She's like, I thought we came here to hunt. So they're not. We can't hunt them down.
I think we came here as the hunt, Sitka.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised to hear what you're saying about Bryant, but I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, look,
thanks.
We got to watch out for Darius
and
watch out for each other, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I look at Kyoko. What happened? Is that because of the stuff, the things? Okay, but everyone else is okay. You're okay.
One of them got me, but I managed to patch myself up before passing out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm awake now, and we'll take care of each other.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah, I'm glad someone who can fly is back here.
Oh, yeah, and then this like smiles a bit. Yeah, I've seen his.
Did we do the heavy machinery roll? I can't remember.
No, we'll do that in a little while. I think we'll actually we'll do it like we had I would say probably one of our highlights last session is they had this electrocuting a giant slug xenomorph moment, and we had the roll like after you've done it. So I think we'll do the same. So as you're flying into the atmosphere, then we'll do the heavy machinery roll, and see how it works out. But yeah, we'll save that for after the work is done, so to speak.
So it's the tractor then.
Yeah.
5 hours of time
So yeah, the situation. This drop ship, it has it doesn't have wheels. It has I'm locking up on the word. It has
sleds.
I want to say sleds. Yeah, skids. Yeah, it has skids. So there's like a little trailer underneath it on the ground, but you need some sort of tractor to pull it out of the hangar. And as you came into this hangar, the tractor that presumably would be used for that job is all burned out and destroyed. So someone's going to need to go back to the garage. I'll get you back to the map. Someone's going to need to go back to the garage. You guys had gone through there and you had seen that there was another tractor back there. But someone's going to have to go out in the rain and the dark and bring that back over here when the time comes. So Noah, Sitka seems fine. She's dehydrated, but she's actually in pretty good shape. She's actually in many ways better shape than you guys. You guys are all wired up on stimulants to keep you awake. She's gotten fitful, but she's gotten lots of rest. She is very thirsty though, and very hungry. So I think Sitka, you probably would reach into your bag and pull out some of the Slig jerky or whatever it is that probably like Weyland-Yutani's Slig jerky in its packaging, and you rip that open and start digging in. So let's take a moment and take care of some of those rolls, those consumable rolls that we have in this game. So if you go to your character sheets, first of all, let's have everybody make you also have a respirator over your mouth, Sitka, because I don't know if you remember, but in this planet, it has atmosphere that you guys can breathe, but there's something missing from it, which causes your brain to start to hallucinate over time. And these guys started to experience some hallucinations, so everybody put their respirators on. So everybody open up the character sheets, and let's do that first. Let's just make an air roll. So you just click that air button. And by the way, whoever it is that runs this character sheet has done an update on it since we played last, so that you'll see that the font is different and there's a few things that have been changed and fixed. So it gets better all the time. So make an air roll for everybody. And if you get a face hugger on your air roll, just take off a point of air. Oh my goodness, Brian got 4 out of 4. Well,
That's me done with facehuggers for the rest of the afternoon.
okay, so what that means is you're down to 0 air. So you're okay right now, but in a couple hours, unless you can find a new air source, you're going to have to make some stamina rolls or start to hallucinate, which should be fun. But right now you're okay. Okay, so those
Do
are
we
done.
notice that? Like, is it something that's obvious for the rest of us that you ran out of air?
I don't mention it.
Do you just keep the respirator on, or do you take it?
I think I probably, because presumably there's some kind of canister or container which has got, you know, a series of green lights. And I probably get a bit of grease and just smear over the light, so it's obvious to me that I'm out of air, but not to anybody else.
Right. Okay. And you know, Paul's saying in the chat, you know, that maybe there's air around, and that's true. I mean, you certainly guys can look around. You're in a right next to the hangar, adjoining it is a workshop. Actually, it's all full of tools and equipment. It's all, you know, jumbled together, all kinds of stuff. And the garage door that adjoins these two areas is actually up. So there's big. You can actually you're waving your flashlights around because there's no power. It's completely dark in here, but you're waving your flashlights around and you can kind of see a little bit into this workshop area. So either in the hangar or in the workshop, I mean, if you spend some time to look around, it's quite possible you can find air, whatever, you know, lots of different stuff. So let's also take a moment and let's do a water supply roll for everyone. All right, I see some face huggers here. Darius, looks like you're out of water. So you'd be okay. I think you can go a shift without water, and then you start to suffer minuses. So a shift is like like a full, and you certainly can borrow water from other people if they feel like, you know, sharing. Yeah, you lose 1 for each face hugger. So Sitka, you're down to 1 water. Noah's down to 1. Bryant's okay on water. Darius is out. And then only Jamie needs to make this roll, but Jamie, you're starving, so make a food supply roll.
Yeah, no face hugger.
Okay. One other thing, just to set the table, Noah, you took a X drug, stimulant, or not like I forget what they call it.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it was an extra. Yeah, it was a.
And you increased your strength, so that still applies for about 4 more hours. Okay.
Okay.
So there we are. Darius and Bryant are, you know, checking out these plans and this work log and looking around, and you see some of the stuff you'll need. You know, maybe in the workshop there'll be more of the parts and the equipment that you think you'll need. Noah, you're checking out Sitka. You know, everyone's drinking some water, and Sitka, you're pulling out some food. And Kyoko, she comes to you, Noah, and she says, you know, she kind of gestures at how messed up she is, and she says, well, it sounds like it's going to take some time for Darius Park and Bryant to repair the drop ship. Do you think you would be able to, I see there's a workshop next door. Do you think you'd be able to go over and help me repair myself in the interim?
Yeah, you come in handy. I think you can come. I think we can give that a go for sure. Sitka, you mind watching my back?
Yeah, of course. Whatever you need.
Okay. So the 3 of you kind of wander off into the workshop area, and this too is very dark. And you kind of work your way around, and you get to kind of maybe in a back corner, and there's a big workbench and workstation. And Noah, you're talented at both, you know, medical aid and also Comtech. So you're kind of like, you've probably done similar jobs before. You know, you're not squeamish about this at all. You know, digging your hands into and trying to, you know, repair. You have a surgical kit and all that, and there's also plenty of electronic tools and stuff there. So you start working on that.
Mhm.
And Sitka, what do you want to be doing while he starts to get his hands dirty?
Yes, I'm looking around. I'm actually like keeping an eye on, like from what we can see of Brian Darius, but also just looking around, just coming to grips with what's happening. Uh, but yeah, and I do check in with Nose. Like, so are you still good? Water, food? Is there anything you need? Or I mean, I know you're busy. I'm like looking at the
Noah,
checking of the
Noah,
hands,
Noah
but-
turns and smiles and just says, "I'm fine, Sika. Thank you for asking." And proceeds to carry on working on his things. I'm worried that perhaps none of us are looking out of the door, but that's me metagaming.
Oh no, but I'm actively looking around.
Oh,
So.
good, go. Because I go in there to work and an alien bursts out of an air vent and drags me away. I'll be very unhappy.
Sure.
Did we secure the outside doors that we came through? Because we came through the door into the hangar, didn't we?
Yes, you
I
did.
thought we
You
secured
came
it.
in and you closed it. And where they're at now, they're in this warehouse / workshop area, and it has its own doors too. So, so Sitka, you're trying to like look around, and you're also trying to keep an eye on Darius and Brian as they work. So you have to kind of like move around a little bit to do that. You have to like kind of walk a perimeter, and you in walking that perimeter, within the first minute or so of doing this, you leave Noah and Kyoko to themselves. You walk towards sort of the back section where this little brownish little square is on this map. That's a door going outside, and you see that rain is pouring in through this door because it's been busted down. The door is off its hinges, laying on the ground. Let's cut back to Noah and Kyoko for a moment. So as you're kind of up close and Kyoko's just kind of laying on this table, she says to you, Noah, she says, "I understand why the others are not interested in leaving this place. But I know that Noah Imelson, that you said that you might be interested in trying to send a message from the comm tower. And I too would be interested in going to the atmosphere processor. I feel angry, I think is what it is. I feel angry at what Waylon has done to me and how he has used me. And I can't break his neck, but I certainly could break something very valuable."
I think leaving a distress signal would be good, but can't leave these people on their own. But if you want to go, I can fix you up as best as you can. Maybe you can take a message from me. Does that sound good, Kyoko?
She says, "Certainly." And then let's cut.
Yeah,
And
you know what the message I would be giving Kyoko.
I'm guessing. You can send it versus Hangouts if you want.
Yeah, and I just wanted again to say that, like, as a, I didn't want to go with her because I don't want to split the party. You know what I mean? Like the 5 hours of shift work versus me running her off on my own kind of stuff. Like,
Well, don't. I have an idea of how we'll sort of hand wave, part of that. So in terms of like, how we'll have our time usage in our session.
okay.
You won't have put it this way, you won't have an extended period where you're off on your own. Everybody else is twiddling their thumbs if you want to go. But if you want to go with what you're saying, that's okay too.
Yeah, I still think that it would be like, if I just disappeared and came back again, people would have questions. And I don't trust Brian with these people.
Okay.
With Sitka in particular.
Sitka, make a observation check for me. Let's see.
Okay.
We'll say that you have you've picked up a flashlight, so if you have some light, so make it at straight up. So you push that observation button, put in 0 for the modifier, and just click it and go. All right.
Oof.
So you got a success, but you did get a panic. So hit the panic button on the character sheet. You don't have a lot of stress.
Let's see
Shouldn't
how
be too
that-
bad.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Panic.
6. All right, so 6 or less, you
Oof.
hold it together. So you
Mhm.
see this, and you hear some movement in sort of the rafters above you in the dark. There's in this workshop, there's all of these bars and lots of like chains that run down for like lifting things up and moving them around. So you hear like a little bit of like rattling of these chains, and you look up and you see something moving in the dark, and it's moving from like over where so I have you kind of like over here, and then I'm imagining Kyoko and Noah is sort of over here, and it's moving from over there but back towards this big garage door, which is open. So it's up in this rafters, and you see this big bulky shape moving through the dark in that direction.
Yeah, I'm going to try to sneak. Like, I'm going to try to get back to Noah without alerting it, basically.
Okay. And I think we'll. I'm not even gonna have you make a roll because this thing actually is moving the other way. And you come around the corner and you see Noah is kind of like beginning the work on Kyoko, and he's got like some sort of like electric tools that he hooking up some little wires and stuff. And now I want Darius and Bryant to make an observation roll. And this one's going to be at, let's see, we'll say, you guys, you're tactically minded. So I imagine you don't totally feel safe here. So I imagine you're on edge. So you're looking around. So I think what we'll do is whichever one of the two of you has the best observation is going to make this roll. You're going to get +1 because the other person's watching around, but this thing's coming from the dark. So it's going to be -2 for that. So you're going to be -1 overall. So which one of you has the best observation?
I'm 3 wits and 2 observations, so I'm guessing.
That's 5. And then Darius, you're at
I've got
3
2
wits and 2 observations.
and 3 in wits.
So you guys look like you're the same. So it's up to you. Which one wants to make the roll?
Brian can roll. That way, if he cocks it up, I'll blame him.
Okay. So
Certainly,
Brian,
Darius.
you're
So
going to
what
make
am I-
you're going to make an observation roll at -1. Actually, I just remembered I forgot a modifier, so I'm gonna have you re-roll. So good news for you. Let me check something real quick. You are going to roll in. Oh, actually, no. Your roll stands. I have to make a roll. Is what it is. All right, I got to make a roll at -2.
And I think probably Darius and Brian are talking about, okay, so just go. I'll get those tiles. You strip off the old ones. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'll roll a die because one of you is going to be targeted here. I'm going to roll a d6. 1 to 3, it's going to be Darius. 1 to 3, it's a 2. So you say that and you turn and you see this. Unfortunately, you're familiar with them now. One of these Telvin monkeys. I'll put the picture up for you guys. So it's about man size, maybe a little bit taller, but it's very, very bulky. And it descends, I'm picking up an echo. Does someone have, Alan, I don't know if it's causing it, but I see on roll 20 there's a little emblem that shows, I think it's picking up your mic on roll 20. So if you, although I'm not hearing it now.
Is that gone?
Let's just continue. Sometimes if you have roll 20, when you first go into roll 20, it says, do you want roll 20 to use your mic? I always say no, but I think if you say yes, it can be like using the mic, from StreamYard and also from roll 20, so it can kind of cause a feedback effect. But I don't hear it now, so never mind. Anyways, so this thing descends from the ceiling right behind Darius, and Darius is looking at you, and he sees, your surprise in your eyes, and this thing's going to attack you, Darius. Roll a d6 for what kind of attack it does. 5. Capture for the hive. The xenomorph attacks with its venom spiked tail. 8 base dice, damage 1. All right, so I'm going to roll 8 dice. It totally misses. So it waves this tail, to try to pierce you and knock you out. And maybe it hits, maybe you have like that rain poncho over your armor. So it pierces the poncho, but it hits that armor, and it blunts the tail enough so that it doesn't hit you. We're going to go to initiative.
Remember, I have fast reflexes. I take 2 and take the whole.
Right. All right, I got a little bit of a battle map I spun up in anticipation of this. So we have these guys here. We've got Sitka over here. We've got Noah and Kyoko. Sitka, you've gotten there, and you're there near Kyoko and Noah. And what we're going to do is I got to make up a turn order. Add everybody to the turn order. Oh, I add Noah twice. So what we're going to do, Will, is we're going to have Noah get 2 cards, and you'll go choose which one you want to keep. I think does that capture how it works? I think.
Yeah. I mean, I would take the highest of whatever turn order I took anyways.
Sure. All right, so I think that got everybody in there. All right, so then I'm going to deal 1 card to everybody in the turn order. And then we'll put them in ascending order. All right, so Noah, you already got the first card. So we'll take off the set. You don't want number 7 then?
No, I don't at all. No, I want to keep number 1 even. Sorry.
All right. So, the 3 of you that are, or the 2 PCs that are in the workshop, at the beginning of a round, you guys can reorder the initiative as long as you can communicate with each other. So you 2 guys can communicate with each other. And then Darius and Bryant, you're near each other, so you can reorder if you want. So right now we have Noah, then Sitka, then Kyoko, then Bryant, then the creature goes twice, then Darius, then the creature goes again. So it's actually pretty good for you guys. So Darius, do you want to go before Bryant? Do you guys want to reorder that way?
Yes.
Okay. So Darius in front of Bryant. Does that work for you, Paul?
Yeah, if he said it, I'm more happy to go with.
Okay. Bryant on 9.
Hang on. No, I've just realized that in combat, my talent kicks in, doesn't it? And that can help Darius even though he goes late. So sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brian on 4.
I would also like to swap with Sitka because she's closer to the door. She saw it. To me, it makes more sense that Sitka goes first in that particular exchange.
Jamie, is that okay with you?
Sure,
You'll go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sitka, you have come around the corner, and you haven't said anything yet, but you know that the creature is moving off towards where Bryant and Darius are. What do you do? And remember, in Alien, you get 2 actions. At the beginning of the round, everybody is awarded 2 actions, a slow action and a fast action. A slow action can be converted into a fast action. Slow actions are basically complicated things that require a roll usually. And fast actions are things like getting things out, moving around, that kind of stuff. And you can hold on to actions in case later in the round you need to block, or there's certain reactions that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just enough time to like speak and say, like whisper, Noah, I think one of those things you talked about, it's here, but I think it was moving in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Should we try to escape or?
No, we need the dropship. Go help them.
And with that, I'm going to rush over. I'm going to take out the elephant gun, like just to,
Yeah, I'll
just
assume,
to at least.
I'll assume you already have that in your hand. That's a big, bulky
Oh,
thing
yeah.
you have to kind of carry.
Yeah.
Okay, so your little conversation won't take any of your actions. So you want to move over in that direction. So I can have you move to here, and we'll say that you've cleared through enough of this sort of machinery and stuff that you can get a view of this thing. So it's there, towering, between you and Darius, and Bryant's kind of to the side. Sitka, you haven't seen one of these yet, so you're going to gain a point of stress from seeing this horrible thing. The others, unfortunately, have had up close and personal interactions with these things already. So there you are. You've used your fast action now. You still have your slow action. You can move again, or you can take a shot, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think definitely I'll take a shot at the same time saying, Bryant, old man, now's not the time to be slow.
Okay.
While taking the shot.
Okay. So let me actually, the elephant gun, it only has short range. So you have to be in the same zone to hit it. It's in the next zone. So you would have to, you have to be in the same zone.
Yeah, no worries. Could I take this time to like ready it in case it comes closer?
Sure.
Ready the action instead.
Sure. That's
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Right.
Yep. You can establish Overwatch. You can't actually use the Overwatch unless you have a slow action available. So you basically used a fast action to move, and then another fast action to go into Overwatch. So that's your turn. Okay. Then Noah, is your turn.
I finish patch. I quickly slap the panel open on the Kyoko up, fixed, and then I nod at her, and I point towards the door, and then I turn around with my shotgun and dash over to help secure the room against the alien. I think so. I can move one as an action, right? So I can move one zone to.
Yep.
To
you want to move to there? Okay.
Yep. And I guess my other action will be drawing my shotgun.
Okay. I think what we'll do, you're kind of insinuating like Kyoko, make a run for it. Like this is a good time for you to take off. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And okay. Also, now that she's done it, I can reveal that the reason I wanted Sitka to go first was because I wanted Kyoko to slip out the back without anyone seeing, effectively.
Okay. That's
even
sly.
Sitka. Yeah.
I think in real terms, you probably haven't spent enough time to actually do any healing for her. But this is a cinematic experience, so we're gonna.
I would be happy to spend this turn, in fact, just working on Kyoko if she's not ready to get.
No, I'll say you've done enough, and a few minutes have passed. Maybe you've done something. So I just want to have you make a medical, or actually, whichever's better for you, either medical aid or Comtech. And she's been helping you, so you get a +1 for that. And then there's electronic tools that you were there, so that's another +1. So give yourself 2 extra dice on whatever stat you roll here.
Okay.
And I think for every success, you'll heal Kyoko a point of damage is how we'll do this.
Oh, sorry, I opened my. I've only got my laptop right now, so I've more. It's much more hard for me to manage my windows than normally.
Yeah. All right. So you got one success and one panic. So
Mhm.
go ahead and roll the panic.
Panic.
7. I think that's the nervous twitch.
Yeah, my stress goes up by 1, and so does
Yeah.
everybody else's immediately.
Everybody in short range. That would only be Kyoko. So you gain a point of stress. You know, as you're finishing your suture on Kyoko, your hands trembling. You know, you break it off, and she says, "Good luck, Noah Emilson. I'll be back in a few hours." And then Kyoko runs over and goes out into the rain. Bryant, it is your turn.
I will use a fast action to use the Field Commander talent, and it will be Darius break left LV82. Remember, and I'm hoping he does remember that is we split on a single enemy, so it has to come after one of us while the other covers.
Okay. So that would help him on mobility, I would imagine. Yeah. Okay. So make that roll. Make a command roll.
Okay, where are we? Oh, come on. There we go. No modifier.
Yep. All right.
Yes.
So you got 2, and you can push if you want. Do you want to push?
Do I get a? Because I got. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say you gain a point of stress, and then you would roll everything that wasn't already a success.
Yeah, there's no stunt attached to this, is there? Yes, I will take a point of stress. And so what do I just re-roll?
Add a point of stress. Although we talked about, like, if you're at the table, we would put the successes off to the side and we'd roll the dice. So if we imagine then, so what we're doing, since one of your successes is on the stress, don't add the stress point until after we make this next roll, because what we want to see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black dice and 3 yellow dice, because you're adding another yellow die, but you're putting 1 to the side. So okay. I think the best way of doing this on the character sheet, if you go to the roll buttons, if you push base dice and put in 5, it'll roll 5 black dice.
Oops.
And then we'll roll the stress dice separate. So click stress dice and put in 3. All right. So then you add a point of stress to your character if you haven't already. You should be at 4 now. Okay. So you've now added 2 more hits. You got 4 dice now that Darius has. If he does what you tell him to do. Let me make a note of that. So Darius +4, break left. And I think that's your fast action. You still have a slow action.
The slow action will be shoot at it, I think.
Okay. And you have a pulse rifle. Is that what you're working?
I do.
Okay. So this thing's at short range, so there's no modifier for that. I think one or both of you had your flashlights out, so there's probably light here, so we won't have that modifier. So I think you're just pushing the attack button on your pulse rifle. Oh, do you want to shoot full auto? If you shoot full auto, you gain a point of stress and you add 2 dice. Okay.
Yep.
All right, you're good to go then. Hit the attack button.
With no modifiers.
No modifier. All right, you got 2 successes, and you can push that if you want.
I will.
Okay. So you've got 2 successes already. We'll do like what we did last time. So now you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -1. So you're going to have 7 base dice and add a point of stress, and you're going to have 4 stress dice. 7. Okay. So click base dice 7. There you go. And then stress dice 4. Absolutely nothing.
And increase.
Increase your stress 1. Yep. Okay, so you do get 2 successes though. So you get the first success is just the hit of the gun. Pop, 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 pop. You hit it. That's going to do 2 damage for the pulse rifle. And then you have a stunt. If you go to range combat,
I want to pin it down.
Pin it down. Okay. Let me read that real quick. Skills and stunts, range combat.
You pin down your enemy. They need to make an immediate panic roll. NPCs instead miss their next slow action.
Okay. So you're going to do 2 damage on this thing, and you're going to pin it down. So you kind of drive it back a little bit, or you pepper it enough that it kind of stuns it, we'll say. And you're doing 2 damage. It has armor piercing, so then I have to roll for the monster to try to mitigate that damage. And it got nothing. So you do 2 damage on this thing. Now, Darius is standing right there. The acid, you hit it, the acid sprays out. We have to find out if Darius gets hit by this acid. I have to roll. I roll 6 plus the number of damage that are done in dice. So it's 8. 8 dice. 2 hits. So Darius, you're going to take 2 damage, but first your armor can block some of this. So you're on your character sheet, you're going to click your armor button, which is down towards where your weapons are. No modifier. Okay, you take 2 damage. So you take those 2 little boxes on your character sheet. Take 2 of those away.
Yep.
When you take damage, you gain a point of stress. So give yourself a point of stress. And Paul, what do you think that looks like? You getting hit by this acid?
Yeah, I think the acid clearly it misses the armor, which is pretty much torso based. So it splattered my my left hand side, my left arm, and it starts smoking.
Right. And goes without saying, it's extremely painful. And it smells awful. And I have to remember, it can continue to burn. So at the beginning of next round, I have to roll Darius 8 dice. I'll roll. You roll half as much the next round. So next round, I'll roll 4 dice to see if it continues to burn. Bryant, you are done. Next up is the monster. The monster gets to go twice in a row, in fact. So, Bryant, you have stunned it. So on its first action, it can't do much with a fast action. So it just stands there pretty much and gathers itself, and then it's going to attack. I think it's possible it might try to come at Bryant. So I think I'm going to roll a die to see who it goes for. 1 to 3, it'll be Darius. 4 to 6, it'll break with Darius and go for you, Bryant. And it does. So it's going to try to like move away from Darius and then go at Bryant. So it has to make an evasion, or what do they call it, retreat roll. So it has to roll mobility. It succeeded. So it breaks from you, Darius, and it comes at you, Bryant, and it's going to attack you. Roll it. Do you want me to roll the d6, or you want to roll the d6 for the attack it does?
I'll happily do it. So just the 1d6.
You want to roll low. 4. Let's see. It would go for someone that's running away or hiding, but there's no one doing that right here. So instead, it's going to try to slash you with its tail. So it's going to try to get you. It's going to roll 8 base dice.
The tension's killing me.
It got 2 hits. You've
Armor?
Yeah, you roll your armor. All right, that's great. So you block both of it. It does the same. It slams right into your chest, and a little bit of this greenish venom is left, on your poncho, and it slams right into your armor and is unable to pierce it, though. I think that's both of its actions. We go to Darius.
So mobility. What can I sort of really do in this situation with mobility?
Not much, but you can continue to bank it, and just in case. You could have used it if it was still engaged with you. You could have done the retreat roll, but now it's run off and attacked Bryant instead. So
Okay. Well,
right now, mobility is not much you can do.
not a
I
problem.
mean, to be honest, it's done it for you.
Yeah.
The idea was to put a bit of space between you and it.
I think I'll give you a break here. I'll say that since it's sort of like, it's not just like move away from it, but it was like sort of like a tactical command. Maybe we can sort of interpret that as you like moving in a way, like Bryant's moving like a little bit to the side to like give you a good solid, silhouette of this creature, so you can move to the side and get a very clear view on it. So maybe we can apply that to a ranged combat roll. Does that work for you guys? Does that make any sort of sense?
I was hoping to get the best of all possible worlds, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we can certainly do that. If you want to shoot it instead, we can give those 4 dice to you that way.
Yep. Okay, here we go. So get some.
So pause there a second. So remember, you also have a fast action. So you can aim, which gives you 2 extra dice if you wanted to, or you can do something else with the fast action. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll aim with the fast action and then with the slow action fire.
Okay, so that works in our narrative too. That you get a bead on it. So you've got 2 extra dice for the aim. You've got 4 dice for the command, and then you have another choice. Do you want to shoot full auto? You'll take a point of stress, and you'll get 2 more dice.
No, as I've only got 1 reload, I will watch my ammo count.
Now, let me remind, in this game, the full auto actually wouldn't affect your ammo, because the way you lose ammo is when you get a face hugger on a roll. So you're not adding, I guess you would add a point of stress. So I guess it would increase the chances that you'll lose ammo.
Okay, but yeah, it's I get what you're saying. Yeah, let's go full auto. Why not?
Okay, so increase your stress by 1 before we roll. So now you're gonna hit that attack button, but you're adding, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 dice. Put an 8 on the modifier, and you're already a pretty good shot. So this should be pretty effective. Look at all those dice. Oh my goodness! All right, so you got 6 hits, and you can push. You can push if you want. I will tell you that this should be more than enough to kill this, though.
I'm going to convert as many of those into extra damage as I can.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to roll. So you're doing 2 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 damage. It is in fact impossible. I'm going to roll its armor. It can't block enough to save itself with its armor. So you're going to reduce its health to 0. Let me roll a d6. 3. Okay. So you shoot this thing, and you reduce its health to 0, and it screams out in agony. It's extremely damaged. It's going to it gets to act outside of the turn order one more time. But first, before I forget, Brian is standing right there. Let me, since you had so many stunts, let's look at the skills and stunts on range. Is there one that allows you to push back the enemy on range?
I believe there is.
Yeah.
So just double check that.
You inflict more damage, you pin down, position. Falls to the ground or is pushed back. So you might, unless you want to get Bryant sprayed with a whole bunch of acid, you could use one of your stunts to push it back so it's out of engaged range, so the acid flies somewhere else.
Yeah, basically, I think looking at the sort of drawing and my position to that, yeah. So a sustained sort of full auto fire, I'll push it back into that wall
Right.
So yeah, basically whatever acid is coming out of it is instantly sort of like dripping down that wall and smoking as the thing sort of like drops to a heap.
Right. Okay. It's still got some life left in it. Even though it goes to 0, xenomorphs, they roll on this other table to see, if they're really dead or if they rise again, so to speak. So in this one, it has a desperate action. It's going to either try to escape or get one last attack. So I am going to roll a d6 to see which is which. And what did I get? A 4. So it gets one last action, a fast and a slow action outside of normal turn order, and then it dies. So it bounces off the wall and leaps at, I think, Bryant, and will try to attack him one last time before it collapses and dies. Bryant, go ahead and roll a d6 for me to see its attack. 3. All-out attack. The xenomorph launches a wild attack, throwing every claw, fang, and its pointed tail at the victim. 8 base damage, damage 2, and it's armor piercing. So this thing goes into a wild fury, and it rolls 8 base dice. So it does base damage 2, and it got an extra hit, so it's doing 3 damage to you. Go ahead and roll your armor. But it's armor piercing, though, so only roll half your armor. So you might have to push like base dice 3.
Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Nothing. Bryant, you take 3 damage.
That takes all 3.
Okay. So reduce your health to 0. And you gain a point of stress from taking damage. And when you go to 0 in this game, you're not dead. But what you now have to do is you have to roll on a critical effect table. This is a D66. I don't know if I have this on our Roll20. Did I put that up? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So you want to roll low on this. There's a D66 button under our roll buttons. Hit that. You want to roll low. 25. That shouldn't be too bad. Critical injuries is the table we're talking about. 25. You have an impaled thigh. It's not fatal. To run becomes a slow action for you, and it will take 2d6 days to heal. So for our purposes, for the remainder of the game, you will have a impaled thigh. Once, and I guess the combat's over because now it runs up, it slashes at you. Your armor saves you mostly, but it drives its tail into your thigh, pulls it out, and falls to the ground, hissing or bubbling and expiring.
Fuck.
Noah will jog in and set the shotgun down and slap Bryant's hands away from his legs. Like, come on, let me take a look at it. God, you're gonna lose a leg if I don't. And I'm going to, I believe the thing is recovery. A person whose health has dropped to 0 is broken. If you apply medical aid skills to them, your roll succeeds to get back on their feet. Immediately recover a number of health points.
Let's pause a minute. Let me talk about healing, because I mentioned last time healing and medical aid is kind of funky in this game. So in this game, all the damage you take short of getting to 0, which they call broken, all the damage you take is considered to be like bruises and fatigue. It's not actual real damage, real physical damage until you get down to 0. So of all the damage you guys have taken, I mean, the bubbling of the acid's hard to explain as anything other than the bubbling of acid. In fact, Darius, before I forget, let me roll to see if that acid gets you any more. I have to roll 4 base dice. And you take another point of acid. You can roll to see if your armor blocks this. So roll an armor check, Paul. Okay, your armor blocked it, but it does reduce your armor by 1. That 1 point of damage that it blocked, it eats up.
Okay.
So let me get back to what I was saying about. So Brian has taken this actual wound. It took him down to 0. you can heal him, and each success on your medical aid roll will give him a point of health. But you also heal every turn. Every turn that passes that you're resting, you'll gain a hit point back, just to get back to your natural full health. And so let me go back to you then, Noah. Do you want to just kind of like narratively bind his wound and let him heal naturally, or do you want to use your medical kit to quickly get him back to health?
I want to quickly get him back to health. Do you know he's our
Sure.
he's our backup pilot. Number
And
two.
Brian is kind of thrusting his medical kit into Noah's hands.
Thanks, Brian. Wouldn't want to see anything.
The
bad
acid
happen
burned
to you.
out then, Paul, so that's it for you. Noah, go ahead and make a medical aid roll. The kit gives you an extra +2.
Is it? Yeah. And do I then cross out medical kit?
That's
from
right. That's right. That'll use it up. Okay. So go ahead and roll your
Cool,
panic.
but I do roll a panic as well. So, but I think Brian is now definitely back up at full health.
I was going to say, unless you get 10 or above. So if you get 10 or above on a panic roll, it ruins all your successes.
But could perhaps
Come
Brian
on,
bring me back down? with this
focus, you
command ability?
fucking shit.
Freeze. Yeah. So you go up. He's like trying to shove this medical kit into your hand, and you're fumbling with it. For some reason, you just, all your knowledge and talents have just gone in your brain, and you're just a jumbled mess. And Bryant yells out to you, pull it together. So go ahead, Bryant, make a command roll. Okay. And roll your panic. 8, but you have the talent, takes away 2. So you hold it together, but you too are left fumbling. And we will say, don't use up keep your medical kit, but maybe Noah eventually slaps some sort of bandage on it, but it's half-ass and it doesn't actually heal you any damage. So you're left there. When you're broken, by the way, you can't make any rolls. You can mumble and kind of talk, and you can crawl around, but that's all you can do. And let me make a note before we forget that for the remainder, you can't really heal that. The healing of the wound will take a couple days. So for our purposes, the remainder of the scenario, Bryant can only run with a slow action, and you already were encumbered, so you already weren't moving very well. So you're basically just a big like turtle moving around covered in gear. I think that brings us back to the moment. So there the 4 of you are. Darius has got bubbling arm, which is kind of has stopped bubbling, but it hurts like hell. Bryant's a bloody mess on the ground.
I give Darius, because fictional painkillers, maybe no mechanical effect, but
paracetamol.
Yes. Although we do still have stress relief drugs, I believe, if anyone wanted to pop one, or perhaps engage in a bit of banter about how well you shot that alien up against the wall.
That was indeed a good kill. First thing I'll do, I'll actually pull out my dog tags, my wife's dog tags, give them a quick kiss, and just say in a very low voice, another one survived. We live to fight another day. And then I shall wander over and see if Brian, who pretty much sort of saved my life a bit there, and now clearly, he's on the ground. So I will say to the 2 others, let's secure this location. That could happen again, and we're really low on manpower now. You 2 secure the location. I'll get Brian back up on his feet. He just needs a little bit of time. He should be okay. So you 2 secure the location. We clearly don't want another alien coming in here. They are nasty indeed. That's my plan.
Okay.
I will go do that. And as we look in the the room, the workshop, as we go in, I will turn to Sitka and go, "Shit, the synth's gone. Never turn your back on one of those things." They took the kit.
And
They took the goddamn. They took the remote kit. We better hope We better hope that hope flies.
yeah, I'm gonna look around and what I thought she was different from the rest, considering how she helped out. But I guess we have to be careful. I guess we really only have each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Did she say anything to you, like where she was going to go, or?
She said something about wanting to get her own back on Wayland or something. You know, who knows? Like, gone haywire, right?
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I will continue onwards, being not a dropship pilot or in any way, shape or form useful to our ultimate goal, but I will help secure this the room.
Yeah, definitely helps secure.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Let me. We'll take a break here in a second, but let me. So Darius, you kissed your dog tag, so that's you interacting with your significant, or what do they call it, your sentimental item, whatever they call it, and so you can reduce your stress by 1. And I would say, given this event, you're not going to be able to feel that this is a safe place. I'll give you guys like 1 round of like bantering and relaxing if you want. So everybody take off a point of stress, just like the relief of this combat being over and being kind of safe in this building, I guess. Establishing a perimeter, I suppose. And then if anybody else wants to interact with their significant item, they can do that. If you have a buddy, you can talk to them and that will reduce their stress by 1.
Yeah, I'd like sort of a little scene with Brian, really.
Okay.
While those 2 others have wandered off, I'll pull out a couple of stoogies, light them up, and just hand one to him. Basically, I see him sort of like collapsed on the ground, sort of holding his leg, and I'll just put my hand on his shoulder, saying, "Live to fight another day, old man. Live to fight another day. That's cool shit you did back there, pulling that thing off me. I do appreciate it."
And my bloody hand reaches up to the front of his.
I'm not a monkey.
Grips the top of his chest armor and pulls him down. And I look him in the eye and say, "No man left behind."
Ooh-yah. Ooh-yah.
Okay, so you 2 guys can each lose a point of stress, Bryant and Darius, but Noah and Sitka are, not nearby for that one, so they won't get anything from that. Okay, so let's pause there. Let's take a quick, I don't know, 5 to 7 minute break. Let's come back to 10:23 or 2:23 or 10:23 p.m., depending where you're at, and we will.
Sorry, just so we can tie that up. I think I will say to Brian, in my trouser pocket, get it out, and there is the crumpled flight officer commercial license, which I grip, and we see it bloodied.
Okay, so you can lose a point of stress for that too. All right, I'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think the main use of the medic is if you'd rolled on any of the ones that literally kill you, I can stop it from happening.
Yeah, but Bryant knows that you didn't really want to help.
Mm. I swore an oath.
Yeah.
What did I walk into?
Yeah. Stuff's gone on since you've been asleep, Sitka.
And cozy testosterone, that's just man love. You know, that's perfectly fine.
There is quite a bromance going on.
Oh, one moment.
Poor Sick has really been dropped into it.
But so much fun too.
So I really like the combat in this. I like how it tells a story. Like we only had like one round, and quite a bit happens in just each round of combat in Alien. But it does take some time, so I always feel like I'm rushing through it. You know, and, try to keep it moving. One thing I thought about that we should have checked. So when Noah, when you froze, there might be some cascade effects from that. Let me see. Yeah, so when you freeze, your stress level and the stress level of all friendly PCs in short range increase by 1. So I would say everybody but Sitka add another point of stress. Seeing Noah trying to be a medic but freezing and fumbling doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
Not
All right.
that we ever had any.
So let me first of all, let's establish. Let me get you guys back to the map. So Noah and Sitka have been sent off to like watch and stand guard while the other two work on the drop ship. And I think you probably can establish a pretty good perimeter to protect this area. If we have one of you at the door, the regular door that leads from the hangar outside, and the other one at that busted down door back in the warehouse area. So Sitka, where would you like to station yourself? Which one of those two spots?
I think the busted one is more dangerous because I assume it sort of leads more into the wild area, right, where it's hard to pick out stuff. So
I'm sorry, which one was it you took? Okay, the warehouse area?
The one at the back.
Okay.
I want to make sure that Noah's not getting...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping Noah will get
Sure.
the less
All right.
dangerous door.
So time passes. The guys work. You guys are watching out in the rain. And like I said, the wind is picking up. It's starting to get closer and closer to what we'd call a gale. And, you know, leaves and refuse are blowing across this landing zone, this open field. There starts to be lightning flashing in the sky. It's getting pretty gnarly out there for sure. Some time passes, so everybody can get their hit points back. You know, enough time passes that your hit points recover. So bring your hit points back up to full. And
That's apart from me.
nope, everybody. Even when you're broken, if time passes, you will heal right back to full, even without any medical care or anything. The medical,
stress, strength, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
It-
Health
so,
is equal to your strength. Yeah. And what we're going to do, like I said, we'll do the actual heavy machinery roll to see how well your repairs, how good they are once you take off. But you will have to use some power from some of your items to do this, because like I said, the place doesn't have any power on. So I think realistically, let's say, you know, running the tools and stuff that you guys need to do this, let's have 2 power rolls for that. So between Darius and Bryant, you know, rolling power once each maybe, or however you want to do it.
I'll start.
Yeah, you start. I'll do the other one.
So that means I don't reduce it by 1.
Right. Okay.
And you do
Okay. And go ahead.
Another question. Is there an opportunity for Brian to just check out how he could lower those big doors between the hangar and the workshop?
Sure. You can make another power roll. You just have to hook up your thing and push a button, really. And then it'll rattle down and close.
So can I power that up in advance?
Sure. Okay, you used up 1 power. So that door's closed now. The door.
No. I don't want to close it. I just want it powered up so I
Just in
could
case. Okay, sounds good. And that's the door between the hangar and the workshop, right? Okay. And then I think it's going to require a lot of power to juice up these clamps that bring down the ship onto the trailer that wheels it out. So I think both of you make one more roll. You both hook up your devices to give this enough juice to run this massive clamp.
Aren't we going to have to get the trailer first?
You're going to have to get a truck, yeah.
Oh, I see. Sorry. So there is a trailer underneath.
There is a trailer underneath, yeah. You just need something to haul the trailer out, yeah. So, yep, hit power 1 more time. And then we need 1 more power roll to raise the door, the garage door that leads outside.
I'll do this one.
Okay. Okay. So over the course of several hours, you take care of all of that. And as far as you're concerned, this thing's good to go. And
can I just say, can we just retro that a bit? Because we wouldn't want to raise the door to the outside,
right,
until the power unit, the truck is outside.
Right. Yeah, we'll just say it's primed. It's ready to go when the moment comes. Okay, so some time has passed. We need to make some more consumable rolls now. I think everybody should make an air roll.
No.
You have a choice, Brian. You can ask for help. You can dig around looking for an air canister, or you can make a stamina roll instead.
I think I'll start with looking.
Okay. Everybody else, if you got a face hugger, just take off a point of air. Brian, go ahead and make an observation check for me. So in the midst of doing your work, you're like digging around through all of this stuff. And you got to panic, so go ahead and make a panic roll, but you did succeed. 8 minus 2 is 6, so you're okay. And I think we'll say you find an air canister, so go ahead and set your air back to 4. Make 1 roll on it. You know, you click it in as your eyes, as the things start to blur and get kind of freaky. You put this canister in and take a deep breath, and that fades away. And then we'll also say you find something, since you got an extra couple hits, we'll go ahead and give you an opportunity to find something else. Let's see, which one do I want? Here we go. So under Finding Stuff folder, there should be a new one called Found Equipment Nublar Park. And go ahead and roll D66 for me, Bryant.
I'm not seeing that, but I'll just roll a D66.
Okay.
For 44.
44. Yeah, I didn't take. Hold on. Let me do it again. 44. Save changes. Okay, now you should be able to see it. 44 is a Weyland-Yutani environment suit. So this is sort of like a hazmat suit. It protects you. What's that?
Would it be acid proof?
This one is not. They do have those, but this one is not. It gives you an air supply. It protects you from noxious environments. It provides a little bit of armor.
I think that's worth dragging onto Hope.
Sure.
Let's pin it on Hope.
Sure. It gives you 1 point of armor. It has an air supply of its own, and like I said, it gives you sort of a controlled environment, and it gives you a +1 on survival when you have it on. So make a note of that somewhere, that's on Hope, and anybody can throw that on if they want to. So time passes, and make sure we take care of all of our bookkeeping. I think we're all set. So right around the time, as you're lowering down the drop ship down onto this trailer, thinking about, all right, now we got to get, that tractor from the garage. I think both Sitka and Noah, you'll see a tractor come driving across the field from back towards the garage, back towards here, coming towards you.
Open the doors! Open the doors! Is someone out there?
And a really, like, it's been silent here for 6 hours, but suddenly this loud klaxon starts to go off all over the base. There's this loud, it's coming from every direction. Inside here, there's towers outside that have big sirens on top. This loud, alarming klaxon starts to go off as this truck comes driving across. You guys raise up the door.
Yeah.
And along comes this tractor driven by Kyoko. She comes up, she kind of backs it around and, brings it up, into the hangar, ready to hook up the trailer if need be. She kind of looks out the window and she says, Darius Park and friends, are you guys ready to go?
Bryant is already hobbling onto the dropship.
Yeah, I go up to Noah and I pull him aside. Are you sure we can trust her? I mean, you said she left.
I mean, she left. She's back. Who knows why synths do things? But the important thing is we're done. Let's get out of here. And try to get to the cockpit before Brian does.
Oh yeah, I can outrun that old man, no problem.
Kyoko says, hurry up, start warming up the ship. We got to get out of here fast. It won't be long before this place is a crater.
A crater?
Let's stop right there. The word crater. Why is that?
I set the base to self-destruct. The atmosphere processors should go off, and she kind of looks at her watch. She goes, about 3 minutes.
Okay, that's not a lot of time, but...
Warming up, like I'm already in the chair, like turning on all the things.
You definitely barge past Brian in the corridor, right? Like, as he's sort of hobbling up there, you're like, straight through.
Like, I'll tell Brian, don't worry, I'll handle this. Just focus on. I look at the leg, and I say, just focus on protecting Darius.
Okay. So you guys load up. Sitka's up in the pilot chair, and the way, like, it's an Aliens, there's a pilot chair, and then like behind it and kind of a little bit elevated above the pilot's chair, there's sort of like I'm not sure what they call them, like the weapons
co-pilot
officer or the co-pilot has like another seat. Does anybody want to take that seat, or is everybody just hooking into the seats?
Of course I do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Brian's flying co-pilot. Noah and Darius, I
prefer to think of it as captain.
Captain's chair, like Kirk on the Enterprise, telling Sulu what to do. So you guys are hooking into the back, and Kyoko like hooks her in next to you, Noah, and she leans in and she says, I sent your message.
Thanks, Kyoko.
And the she's pulled you out, out into the field, and the ship is ready to take off with seconds to spare. So Sitka, we need that dramatic, punch it, and you hit the engines to get out of here as fast as possible. There's a thermonuclear explosion behind you guys. The ship starts to rattle. Let's see how effective you've done in firing this thing up. So I think Bryant helping you will give you a die. He's good for that. So make a piloting check with a +1. Let me check one thing real fast.
Sure.
The craft have a stat that helps with piloting? I just want to see if a Cheyenne dropship has that. Cheyenne. It does. It has +2. So give yourself 2 dice for that.
Nice.
So you're adding 3 dice.
Yeah.
You can't miss this.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
More
So
success.
you can.
I'm looking extra awesome, Brian, just so you know.
That is indeed one of the stunts you can do under piloting, is to look cool or to impress someone, I think is how they phrase it.
You show off. That's great.
So what did we see you doing that shows that you're showing off, Sitka?
I think we see that I bring it lower than it has to be, keep it low to like so we can see everything going on in the planet below. Keep it real close, like to Brian. It looks like I'm gonna crash straight into the dish on the way out, but you know, I'm practically yawning in my seat.
Right. Maybe you're like using like the turbulence from the thermonuclear blast to like do barrel rolls, and you know, using it to your advantage, you know, in your flight. As you guys go blasting up into the environment, you know, out into the out of the atmosphere, out into space now. That is the end of Act 2. So everyone did very well. So everybody go ahead and give yourself a story point. We are entering Act 3, our final act. One moment, let me copy and paste everyone's new agenda into your little agenda box. Act 3. And remember, a story point can be used to give yourself a success on any roll. Before or after you roll, you can apply a story point to give yourself a success. Okay, everybody should have their Act 3 in their personal agenda box in your upper left of your character sheet now. And remember, you don't need to accomplish it. You just have to make significant actions towards trying to accomplish your goal. What else? So the flight takes, you know, a full shift to fly from the surface out into space. So time passes. I think everybody's healed their damage already. I think you relieve all your stress. You finally know that you're safe. There's nowhere for xenomorphs to hide in this dropship, and everybody can relieve their stress completely. And I think we need another. You're out of the atmosphere, which is toxic to you guys, so that you don't have to worry about that. But I need a food and water roll from everybody. You both have something to eat and drink as you're flying up.
I have no water, so I would like to search the dropship.
Oh, yes, you do, Darius.
Yeah, I think you have to borrow. I don't think the dropship has any supply. I'll leave it to you. If you want to make an observation check, we can see if there's a bottle of water somewhere in here.
Yeah, I'll make an observation check.
Yeah, just make an observation check.
I think Brian was trying to do this as well, but Noah would give his his last remaining bottle of water to Darius.
Okay.
I am capable of finding my own water, gent.
Yeah. Here, boss.
So-
Here, boss.
Yeah, there's
kissing
like
his ass the whole time.
there's like these storage bins that are, you know, above your heads as you're sitting in the chair. And Darius, from long experience, you know that everybody always would leave bottles of water laying around in these things. So you reach up, you open up one, you scrounge around, and you pull out a half bottle of water, and it gives you enough to at least keep you going for now. So food and water, took care of that. And I think you now I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think we're all right. I think we're ready to go out into space. So let me drag you guys. I'm just trying to get to the right one here. All right. So I think this is a good time for our heavy machinery roll. Darius, I think you took a point of heavy machinery last time, so you're going to lead the way on this one. Brian is assisting you, so you'll get an extra die. So go ahead and make a heavy machinery roll with an extra die. Let's see how that works out. You want to push?
I think so, yes.
Add a stress and just do the exact same roll again.
Yay.
Right.
I think cinematically, you know, the thing starts to sort of wobble, and you see me so the sort of re-roll will actually be in real time. So you'll see me sort of at my acceleration couch, sort of running up and down and sort of like tightening various sort of points, modules along the length of the drop ship, and then slowly the vibrations sort of die down.
Right.
Wipe some sweat from my brow.
Right.
There's got to be some pipe that's venting steam.
Right. Sitka sees like overheat. The sensors are showing overheating on some of like the maneuvering jets and the electronics. And then Darius does his thing, and it goes back to optimal or normal. And you sit back down, and a little camera drops down, similar to like when you guys first came down to the planet. A camera comes down and shows each of you that's sitting in the back the same view that Bryant and Sitka have of the Meredith Vickers space station as you approach it. And this sort of side view kind of captures a little bit of what it looks like. It's big, of course, but it's, in terms of space stations, it's not gigantic. You know, I think I said it probably has a staff of about 100 or so, you estimate.
Way smaller than the Sebastopol station.
Right, nowhere near as big as that. And it has big prominent, like Weyland-Yutani, Meredith Vickers on it. You know, the lights of your drop ship show, highlight that as you approach it. And it's got like a central area, which is sort of like circular, spherical even. And then on sort of the main central level, there's 4 arms that come out and have these 4 hangers. And the main level where these hangers are attached, also ringing all the way around it, is these big windows that allow you to see into the station. And on each of the sides, north, south, east, and west, on each of the cardinal direction sides, going from that level onto the apex or the top of the sphere, is a wide glass area that also allows you to look down inside, but you can't really see what's down in there. It's hard to explain. I can picture it in my mind, but it's hard to explain. But there's sort of like these shafts, I guess, like a glass wall, and these shafts that like go down into the middle of the station on 4 of the sides, or on each of the 4 sides. And at the very top, there's a huge comm tower. And then underneath the station, there's a long spindly spire that goes down. And at the very bottom of that is the sort of a bulbous area. And there's like long antennas, but there's clearly like big like tanks down at the bottom, like big like water or coolant tanks. And as I said before, I think you guys know enough to know that that's likely to be like where the fusion generator is, that they would put it away from the main station just in case bad things happen, kind of like what happened to, you know, the base on the ground. Any questions about the station? Okay.
I'm trying to remember if Darius's, the Providence, I think we called it, whether Darius's yacht is docked here or is it separately in orbit? I can't remember the detail.
Yeah, it is docked in one side. It's in the internal hangar. It's in the auxiliary hangar. And Sitka and Brian, I'm not sure who would have this control, probably both. But you both can see on your instrument panel that there are controls to allow you to initiate the docking sequence for the dropship hangar. So this dropship is programmed to be able to initiate a docking process, but only into that hangar. The dropship hangar is on the west side, or the left side of our map.
Are there any signs of activity?
No, the lights are on. You can see that glass concourse that goes around it is lit up. Make an observation check, though, Noah. I think everybody's probably kind of checking it all out. So give yourself a +3 on this. All right, that's real good. You'll succeed, and I'll just give you more information with this. So, like I said, the lights are on, but there are, you know, maybe you're like, Sitka, can give me a slow drive around the station. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. And you see several points where that concourse the windows have been blown out. And I'll even say that, you know, maybe like there's like a magnifying effect that you can have with the camera. Like Brian figures out the buttons that allow him to like magnify the cameras. So he zooms in, and you can see that these spots on the concourse that have been blown out, that are, you know, vented out into space, there's no air coming out of them anymore. You know, it's just a hole. And you can see that there are several blast doors that have come down to sort of isolate that section of the concourse that has been vented into space. So there's several of those sections, and one of them is right, I'll even open it up on your map here. One of them is fairly near to the dropship hangar. Should be on your map now, a big black block saying blockage. Anything else? I'll give you one other follow-up question if you have anybody really. If you have a follow-up question about the base, maybe I can give you something else.
Radio traffic. I mean, presumably. I mean, during our time fixing up the ship, I'm sure Darius and I were talking about what a bastard Wayland is, and what exactly we're going to do to him when we get up there. But it's only occurred to me now that he'd have to let us in.
Right.
So, you know, radio traffic.
There is no chatter whatsoever. Silent. Maybe it's sending out a automated beacon that all spacecraft have, or you're supposed to have at least, you know, just so that nobody runs into it. But otherwise, nothing. You have figured out, though, that basically just by pushing a button, you can get this dropship to go into an automated procedure that will allow it to, like, you know, come up to the dropship hangar. A clamp will come down, carry it into an airlock, and then carry it into the hangar itself. So the actual docking procedure is simple, basically. And it does look like the station is responding to your signal. You know, when you get ready to do that, it seems to recognize that you guys are here and that it's ready to initiate docking procedure.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. Do you think the chicken shits run? But why would he leave the station behind? Why would he leave the Providence?
Well, remember some people from the surface, mirror shades. He may have brought something back from the surface.
Shit. We can't let him get off the station. You imagine bringing one of those things back to Earth?
Exactly. I say we crash the station into the planet, just to be sure.
I'm with you, boss. Yeah.
Do we have, other than the environmental suit, the hazmat suit that we brought on board, there are no spacesuits on the dropship?
No.
And something I'm not sure we ever quite pinned down. Were there any crew left on the Providence?
No, I'm going to say that it's just the 5 of you or 4 of you.
Okay.
And
And
Mother,
then-
of course.
And Mother. Mother's always at home.
Right.
And there's no way to rig some kind of dock between the dropship and the auxiliary hangar.
No, given Noah's good role, I'll say that you do see that there is an airlock, on each of these hangars, that allows access from space, but there's no umbilical, and there's no space chutes. So unless you want to risk exposure to vacuum for several minutes, no.
Our options are narrow.
Could send one person across in the suit.
That suit, it's
It's
not
EVA rated.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it wouldn't really do you much good. It would give you maybe 1 extra die on a die roll. Do you live or die roll? It would give you 1 extra die maybe, but not much more than that.
Cool. Well, let's. I say let's proceed with the very extremely tense landing arrangement.
Okay. So the order comes in, Sitka to go ahead or Bryant, hit the button, let the computer take over and dock right into the dropship hangar. You do so, and like I said, the ship automatically fires these maneuvering thrusters, moves the ship exactly where it needs to be. These clamps grasp onto the ship. You hear a little clang inside, although I don't know if you actually would, but and the hangar, the outer lock opens. It pulls the ship up inside. These lights start to go off. These emergency light, or not emergency, but just like caution lights, and it closes. And you're in this dark hangar for a minute. You hear the air circulating, and this inner lock opens. The clamp lifts you up into a hangar, and there. As you imagine, it's a very large space, open space, and there are various boxes and whatnot around, but there's another drop ship that's sitting there, and there's a power loader off to the side. There's the door of the airlock. I'm looking for my power loader picture. I don't think any of you can actually use. You have to have heavy machinery 2 to use a power loader. So unfortunately, I don't think any of you guys can actually use it. But there's our classic power loader. Do we lose Alan, or does he just turn off his camera for a second?
I think he just turned his camera
Okay.
off for a sec.
Oh, he says he needs a break. Does anybody else need a break? This is a good time as any to take 5 minutes if you need it.
Yeah,
Good
would
to
that
go?
be okay?
You do want to take a break, Jamie, or are you okay?
Yeah, if it's okay, we could take a short break before.
All right. Yeah, let's take 5
plunging
minutes. Come back around
into the
11.
rest.
Okay. See you guys in a couple.
reinstalled Alien Isolation off the back of playing this after last session.
Nice.
It's so good.
Have you played it more than once already? Or just
No,
one time?
no, just the one time. But all the DLC went on sale recently, so
Yeah.
I need to replay the game to remember how to do the DLC because they dropped
Right.
it at the deep end.
Ooh.
Alien Isolation.
Which game is this? Oh,
Such a good game.
yeah.
I think it's cheap
It is.
on.
It is. I watched.
No, this is on the PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this would be like PS3, I think, or Xbox 360, maybe. Like, it's not brand new. It's like 2-3 years old now at this point.
Alien Isolation. Yeah. What year did that come out? I think it's actually
Older.
2017, 16, something like that. It's been around for a little while now.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good vibe to get for this station. That game takes place on a big space station. So this hangar is big and open, but you don't see any movement. You don't see any people. You don't see any damage. You don't see anything really. The only other feature in the hangar is that there's like an open, that's not true. There's a part in the floor that has like all of this like warning tape around it because it's like a flat lift that would like go down to like a lower, like would be able to lower big things to a lower level. And then as you can see on the map, there's like big double doors that lead, big blast doors that lead from the hangar into the station. You guys now, the drop ships drop down, the clamp lets go, the drop ship's there, steam is coming off it from your flight, the engine is powering down. Do you push the button, Bryant, to lower the ramp in the back so you guys can exit?
Yes.
Okay. So, that lowers down. And you hear, especially those of you that are in the back, nearest to the ramp, it's quiet, except when it's not quiet actually, because there's klaxons going, alarm klaxons going, very loud, constantly, and you hear like an automated voice over the system saying, where is that? The station is experiencing a catastrophic failure of biocontainment. Please remain calm and proceed to your designated escape capsules. The station is experiencing a catastrophic failure of biocontainment, blah, blah, blah.
Well, shit. I guess.
I immediately take out the motion tracker. But
Okay.
yes, go on.
We need to make it. If we're going to set the self-destruct, that's going to be down in where would that be? Admin, I guess.
That would be a good place to start to at least find out.
Yeah, and then we need to make it across to the auxiliary hangar, I suppose.
That's where the Providence is, yeah, in the auxiliary hangar.
Look, Darius, I can't help feeling that we need to make sure the Providence is there and flyable before we plan to blow up anything.
Totally agree. Method of escape is the first order of priority. Second order of priority is containing this threat to humanity.
Do we still have our com beads?
Yeah, I would say you each have like a comm headset.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if it's worth checking Wayland's hangar to see if, like that's got a ship in it as well.
I think at the all signs suggest bad things, so I think everybody gain a point of stress.
But I do think that the securing the exit is probably the best thing to do first. Check that we've actually still got the Providence is spaceworthy. Even for all we know, it's riddled with acid, holes all over it. Right.
So you guys gonna gear up and head towards the big double doors out of here? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think it probably is.
Darius, how would you deploy your crew? You had walked through the concourse on your way here, so you know it's a wide area. So you don't have to go single file or anything. Who's leading the way, and who's in the back, and are you guys moving quickly or quietly? What do you think, Darius?
I think me and Bryant will head up, rifles on point, and I think, Noah, Sitka, and the synth will follow up. I mean, actually, what is the distribution of weapons? I know Bryant's got a pulse rifle. I know Sitka
which he's using as a crutch.
Right.
I've got a shotgun. And Kyoko's still got the electro stick.
Yeah.
So yeah, really the only sort of long range weaponry is the rifles. So yeah, me and Brian. Well, should we offload some kit from you, Brian, to pull you down into some sort of like non-encumbered state?
Well, I want to give the EVA pistol to the synth.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and mark that off. That's a help. You're still encumbered though, but that's something. EVA pistol.
Can you get rid of?
I have to get down to twice
your strength.
I could give you an extra, which would increase your strength. A stimulant to help you with that wound, etc.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay. The one that you took, Noah, has worn off too. So
okay.
You can't take another one for another few hours. Otherwise, your body will blow up. These things are tough. These things are powerful. But yeah, so Bryant, you're going to have +1 strength for the next shift.
Fine, which takes me to 4, which would be 8 kilos, which once I unload the EVA pistol is not encumbered.
Okay, great. I mean, that helps for sure. You still remember if we get into combat, if you want to move around, you have to do a slow action. So you will be slower for that reason, regardless. Okay, that sounds good. And I think given Brian's injury, I think that answers the next question. Do you want to move quickly or quietly? I think you're kind of forced to just kind of go quietly as best as you can. So the power's on here. Everything so far seems to be working just fine. You hit the button, these big double doors open up, these big solid pressure doors, and a wave of smoke billows into the room. Something there is or was a fire here. This is burning smoke, and it's makes it hazy out in this concourse. And of course, there's the klaxons or screaming. That that automated voice comes over once in a while. We're experiencing a catastrophic failure of biocontainment. Stay calm and make your way to your escape capsules. And you're out into this tunnel, and you hear to your left. I'm going to be bouncing around between different pictures here for you guys. Let's see. Back to the map. So you guys, actually, let me get your little token. Keep track of where you guys are at.
I'm a bit worried about passing by veterinary care, I have to say.
Can't imagine why. We'll have you kind of at this crossroads going into the concourse, and there's to your right, you can't really see it from where you're at. It's kind of like around the bend, but you know that's where the pressure doors have come down because there was venting out into space. So that way, at least from what you saw, is blocked. Directly in front of you, there's a path leading towards the garden and lifts at the center of the station. And that hallway doesn't have windows, obviously, out into space. It just has walls. But you can see looking down, everything's lit up just fine. You can see down these hallways It looks like about 30, 40 meters down. Oh, actually, no, sorry. No, you can just see down the hallway. There's doors leading into admin. There's a door leading into veterinary care. There's a door at the end that leads into the garden area where the lifts are. And then to your left, there's the concourse goes around the corner, and you hear through the klaxons and the automated voice, you hear the distinctive bark of several bursts of pulse rifle fire somewhere down that way. Not right nearby, but somewhere down that way. There, you hear a couple bursts of fire, and you hear that screaming screech that you're familiar with for just a moment that kind of echoes through the hall, and then it goes quiet.
Which direction was that again, sir?
To your left, around the concourse, kind of outside admin, back this way.
Okay.
We need to go straight on, Darius.
Yeah, we need to. We want to get to that hangar, but we could swing into admin and at least check out, the fusion controls, that sort of thing, without setting it.
Who knows? Maybe we can use. Maybe there's something in M we can use to lock down the rest of the station.
Yeah, possibly. So, two things. I'd like to don my respirator, as there's smoke everywhere, and I would like to activate the motion tracker.
Right. Yeah, Sitka said she was doing hers too. So I think, Jamie, you said yours first. Why don't we go ahead and you fired yours up? Go ahead and make a power roll for your motion tracker. Perfect.
Just in time, I rolled a face hugger.
Okay. So it just
but
reduces
it
your
just means
power.
one power less. Yeah.
That's right. You're still good.
But it
All right.
was so horrifying to hear that sound while I saw the face hugger. It was like
Right. So you pick up, let's see, you pick up 4 signals back this way, moving towards you pretty quickly. Then it's 3 signals, and you hear another burst of pulse rifle fire.
Bryant is already heading up the corridor.
Down this way.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brian's like, F this, I'm going this way. What about the rest of you guys? As these signals start to move towards you, and you hear pulse rifle fire and another screech, xenomorph screech.
and down to 3 signals instead of 4 originally, right?
Right. It was 4, now it's 3 signals.
Okay. Yeah, I tell everybody, just keep going. You heard the boss. Head to admin. I'll cover you. Just keep going. And I'm like taking you back.
You guys start heading down, going as quickly, it sounds like as quickly as you can down this tunnel. And they're back behind you. There's a loud explosion. And then there's a rush of all of the air rushing back that way. And I need everybody to make a stamina roll. This is pulling at you, this rush of air.
I wasn't certain. Should I increase my strength by 1 or 2? I can't remember.
1.
Or should I just add 1 to my rolls?
Just change it right on your character sheet.
I'd be surprised if we last a whole more than a shift in the space station.
Yeah. So everybody make a stamina roll that uses strength. And I see everybody. Will, have you done yours yet?
Sorry, momentary technical.
Jumping around? Okay.
Yeah.
So Bryant and Sitka made it. Noah and Darius both panic. So go ahead and make a panic check.
What's the effect of the stamina fail? What are we failing again?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your panic rolls. Darius is holding it together. Will, Noah, he's holding together. So Bryant and Sitka, you guys are able to kind of like maybe you've moved to the front for, maybe Sitka like saw these signals, like, and Brian already is like, I hear that noise, I'm out of here. So, and Sitka's like, yeah, we need to go. So she like, starts down the tunnel, but the two in the back are being pulled more, and you grab onto, I don't even know what there would be there. Maybe there's like a panel, like a control panel or something, like a terminal on the wall or something. And you grab onto what you can as this is start to pull you, and it's starting to lift your legs up. So you're almost like, and hanging there as this air is, being rushing past you, and you're being pulled. You feel like you're being pulled in that direction. What do you guys do? These two look like they're in some distress. If they lose their hold on this wall, they're going to go flying down this tunnel back the way you came. Sitka and Bryant.
Is there a way we can? Yeah, is there a way we could try to get to them without getting pulled along?
Sure.
Like, I'm trying to imagine what that would be like. But I'll tell Bryant, you get the
Fuck,
boss.
I
I'll
can't
get
move with
Noah.
this leg.
I should make a roll. I should make a roll for
Oh my
Kyoko too. Kyoko. Stamina. Wow. So Kyoko also is hanging onto the wall. Okay.
I've got some rope. I'll anchor the rope at this end. Sitka, you take the rope to them.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. And a big pressure door starts to drop to close off this section. It starts at that crossroads. It's behind you. It starts to drop. It starts to slowly slide down. And I think what we're going to have you guys do. I think we're going to have you make. It sounds like sounds like a mobility roll. So I think.
Yes, please. Because I have reckless.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I think Sitka and
In case I
Bryant, you
need
guys
to
are
use it.
okay, but you can assist one other person. It sounds like Sitka was going to help Noah, and Bryant was going to help Darius. Is that right? Do I remember that
No,
correct?
I'm not moving.
You're not
I'm
moving?
going to anchor the rope.
Oh, you're just making sure you're okay.
I want to make. No, I've got a gammy leg. Come on. I'm anchoring the rope, giving the other end of the rope to Sitka, hoping that will secure her and then them.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
And I will
Which
remind
still
her.
help. Yeah, I think that's.
I will remind her that Darius is her employer.
So I think what that will do, that's a good. I like that idea. Using the rope that's a good idea. So I think that'll give each of them a +1, and then Sitka's giving Noah an additional +1. So this is another stamina check. You might not want to miss. This might be a good time for a story point, put it that way. So Noah and Darius and Kyoko each need to make another stamina check at plus. Noah's, yours is at +2. Darius is yours is at +1.
I think as my stunt on that one, I would love to give a +1 to anyone who needs it, basically. But we don't need it because we all made it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up here. Okay. Yep, everybody made it. All right. So you hold on long enough for the door to slam shut, and then there's a hiss as the air starts to rush back into this tunnel. And Darius is using his respirator, so he's fine. But the rest of you gasp for a moment, but no, mechanically nothing bad happens. And then the pressure normalizes. And again, though, smoke starts to seep in. Obviously, it's cleared obviously a little bit, but the smoke from well, I guess this tunnel would be clear because the doors are shut now. So you guys continue on, and you see that the doors to the veterinary care and admin are sitting there. There's just like a panel or button to push if you want to go in there. And I think your plan was to go into admin and try to figure out how to destroy the station or how to control it at least.
Bryant is moving so slowly, he needs to use as much time as possible to get up to the end of this corridor.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we leave you standing on like we'll go in while you secure the corridor effectively.
Yeah, and once they're in, Bryant will make his way up the corridor towards the garden.
Okay. So 4 of you go into the admin, and then Brian's going to continue on to the garden area as they check out the admin area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we got comms, haven't we?
That's right. Okay, so you open up admin, you push the button, and you see that it's a wide area. You walk into like a wide area. It's obviously like a control center. There's all kinds of screens and terminals and tables. There's you can even kind of spot, where you saw Waylon talking to you. You can see like a cushy chair that he obviously was sitting in with like a terminal and where would have been in front of him, but it's totally empty of people. And there's parts of it have been blown up, acid burns on the ground. There's a spray of blood on one of the walls. There's one of the terminals is sort of like flickering flames. But there are still intact terminals and stuff here and screens that seem to be still working just fine, but it looks like there was a battle here. On the wall, there are, written directions as like there's tunnels that lead off from here through admin, and there's like one that says this way to medical care, this way to the armory. What do you guys want to do?
Look for a either a way of or a info towards how we could possibly set a self-destruct to overload the reactors, etc.
Yeah, get on one of those terminals and see what can be done.
Okay.
I'll secure the
I'm
room.
going to keep watch.
Sitka's keeping watch. Okay. So
while I am checking out, I would like to know whether anyone's left. If there's any kind of like
right
ship left, etc. Details.
Right. Okay. So I think you need to, the screen pops up and it says, enter your PIN basically, and I'm going to have you make a Comtech roll to hack into this terminal. It's going to be at -1, but you do have that hacking device that you took at one point. Noah took your hacking device, Sitka. So that gives you +2. And whether it's Darius or Kyoko, someone's standing over your shoulder helping you out. And so take another +1 for that. So I think you're +2 overall. Wow. You want to push? Or do you want to use a story point? Yeah. No, so add a stress.
I can use this. I can use a story point after I fail, right, on the thingy.
That's right.
Yeah, so I may as well. I will use that story point if I.
Okay.
Do I roll it again? Just straight
right.
up?
Add a stress and then roll everything.
Yeah.
Same modifier. Okay.
That one hit.
Yeah, out of 8, 9, 19 dice, you got 1 hit.
Wow.
So you access the computer, and you can add me. First, you see that. So first of all, movement from the station. So you see that there are, I forget the exact number, but off the top of my head, I think it's like 12. There are 12 escape pods. 10 of them have launched. There is a record of Waylon's personal yacht being launched right after everything went crazy for you guys at the chateau. Shortly thereafter, his yacht launched. So this is probably about it's probably close to at least a day or so now. And otherwise, there's been no one coming or going from the station since then.
So Waylon left, and then at some point in between, most of these escape pods left as well.
That's right. Shortly thereafter, a lot of the escape pods left.
Okay.
The escape pods just go down to the surface? I mean, what are they, sort of interstellar?
No. Yeah, I think it would be fair to say you can tell the rating of the escape pods suggests that they're not interstellar. No, they would have just been launched either to just float in space or to go down to the surface. You're not sure which.
A bit like Ripley's one, right? Like it'll go off. Some of them might go off into space and just drift in cryosleep until someone can pick them up. Noah makes a note of all of those escape pods, telemetry and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Like you have access to the computer, so feel free to ask me anything else. I think the other thing you guys were interested in, one of the other things, is the station, how to self-destruct the station. I can't remember if I made a handout for that or not. Let me see, because I anticipated somebody might want to blow up a station. No, I did not. But basically, you need.
That you
What was
press.
up?
There's
What
an
was
alarm
up?
we just pressed.
You're breaking up. Are you saying like a large red button to push or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. Whether there's been damage to the systems or whether they built it this way to make it difficult to blow up a station, you actually have to go down to the fusion generator level, way down at the bottom of the spire. And there's a whole long process. You need to push a bunch of buttons. You need to pull a bunch of levers. Of course, just like in Alien, you've got to do this long, drawn-out process to blow things up. So we'll get to the details if you guys want to go down at the bottom of the spire, but that's basically what you would need to do to blow up the station. What else did you guys want to know about?
Is there any indication of who else might be alive on here?
No, there's no like life support sensors or anything like that. There's no way to know.
Okay. There's a lift down.
Oh, actually, no. Actually, let me back up. There is actually. There's a way to detect personal data transmitters, and it looks like a goddamn town meeting down at the bottom of the fusion generator spire. All the PDTs are down there.
You don't say.
I mean, I think out of character, we all know exactly what that means. In character, I feel like we haven't seen enough of the aliens to make that exact, because we haven't seen a facehugger do anything, have we?
No, you haven't seen any bodies. You've seen lots of blood, and you haven't seen any bodies. So that maybe gets you thinking, But yeah, you haven't seen any like eggs. You haven't seen facehuggers. You haven't seen.
We did see the dead bodies of the animals, but we haven't seen it quite. So
that's true. From afar, yeah, you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel not enough for us to all really solidly think that. Yeah.
Probably not. There are. Let me tell you this. There's evidence that there are lab reports that are highly classified, and it's not even a matter of hacking. You cannot even access them from this administration area, but it's clear that those records are being kept down in the lab. There's clearly a lower level called the lab level that somehow you must be able to get down into, that there may be lab records of what's listed as XX121.
Interesting. Does anyone? I have all of my questions about the station answered. If anyone wants to ask me something, Noah will look, and I will find out, and then I will tell you what I tell you.
Right.
I think Bryant is continuing to make his way up towards the past veterinary care. He's halfway to the garden and the lifts now, and he's kind of, okay, you've had long enough in there. Let's move on.
Did you want to open the door to the garden lift area, Bryant, or are you just standing there outside the door?
Not unless I have to.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Yeah. No,
Any more
I think that's
computery questions?
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. We will leave and make our way towards the garden and lifts.
Okay. All right. So the other four come out and make their way to the door there. And again, it's just a matter of pushing a button and this door will open up. It slides open,
I think
and
Brian, because Brian wasn't involved in any of those conversations, he will ask. So can you blow it up from up here? You did not set a timer, did you?
No, we got to go down in the engineering works.
What about altering its orbit?
It's locked down, I think. The only way we can put it safe.
What do you mean you think?
I mean that maybe we could try and pull it out of orbit with the Providence, but it doesn't have those kind of controls, Brian. A real pilot would know that.
Shit.
yeah, I would say that you would have to get to the actual computer core and turn. I mean, like the mother is, programmed at all costs not to allow the station to be destroyed. It probably has minimal motive abilities anyways, the station itself, but I will tell you, Noah, you get the sense that the AI is battling against you to even look up how to crash the station. It keeps diverting you. It keeps saying this information is not available. Your security clearance does not allow you to access that information.
Yeah, the reason I give Brian, though, is totally that he's just not a good enough pilot to know that you can't do that with space stations. Like,
right.
And the terrible thing is that Brian isn't confident enough about his knowledge to actually come back at him. So he will divert the conversation in an entirely different direction as well. Well, that makes it fucking simple, doesn't it?
Game over, man. Game over.
Okay, so the door opens into the garden area. And this is a wide, is an open plaza, I guess you'd call it. And it's pretty majestic. It rises, it's like a cylinder that rises all the way to the apex of the station above you, another 150 meters or whatever it might be. And all at every level going up, at this ground level all the way up, there's all kinds of like plants and vines and flowers growing on the walls. The walls are covered with foliage. And from above, there's a constant dripping of water, and water's running down this garden. The ground, the floor has like grates so that the water, drains. And the part of the station, I mean, I don't know if you've been here long enough to know this, but the station is slowly rotating. So as the light of the sun hits the station, it'll shine down through one of those shafts that are on the side, and it'll illuminate the side of this garden. So as the station rotates and as the station goes around the moon, each part of, in the course of a day or two, each part of this garden will get sunlight. So it's this, and the air in here is very fresh. It's very refreshing. And it is still kind of smoky in here, though. And what else about it? There are 4 lifts sort of at 4 corners of the room, of the circular room. And these are big lifts. 3 of them are closed, and they show the lights on them that show that the car is here if you wanted to go inside. But the one, I think it's the southwest lift, the door is ripped open, and there's no car. It's just a elevator shaft right there.
Does it look like it was burst open or burst in? So can we tell whether something came out through those doors?
It looks like something ripped the doors physically off their hinges. Like one of the doors is laying, in the plaza, and it's all wrenched and ripped up. You even see like massive claw marks on it, much bigger than anything you've seen.
Okay, let's not worry about that. Let's hustle. We go straight across here through that door. We get to the ship. Come on, let's go. Go.
Okay. All right. Darius leads the way in a hustle over there. Let's get an observation check from you guys.
I'm wondering, I think my survival might be better. Is that
Survival's not really. Survival's a kind of a lost skill in this game. It's not used that often.
I think it would be more like if you were exploring like an actual alien world, or like
Yeah, yeah,
LV-426,
yeah.
etc.
In this kind of scenario, we don't really use it that much. So
we could have used it a lot in the jungle, I imagine.
Yeah, if you'd done that.
So no modifiers. Yeah.
Let me double check.
Sorry, we're all making that roll, right?
No, just
Just
one
double-checking.
person makes the roll for the group.
Okay, got it.
I think, given the circumstance, I think, Sitka, how many dice would you have on observation? That would be, I think it's your wits plus your observation skill level.
I already made the roll.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go back. Any rolls that were made now, forget those. We're gonna redo it because we gotta figure all this stuff out. But let's see.
I have a 5.
Okay. And Noah, at this point, what are you at for observation?
I'm at the back of the group, so I'm not the person doing the observing. I think it's Darius or Sitka.
Anybody, whoever's got best observation. In this situation, I'll tell you,
Cool. Well,
I think it's Darius.
you're all in the crosshairs.
I have the best observation.
Okay, so you're gonna roll. I think because Brian is hustling out of here as fast as possible, he's not going to give you a plus, but you'll get a +1 for Darius. You'll get a +1 for Sitka. So you got +2 dice. Because of reasons, you have -2 dice, so you're at even. Sitka had her motion tracker out, so I'll give you an extra die for that because you're going to pick up some motion here in a second. So you're at +1. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting. Let me look up one more thing.
Just waiting, Paul. Alan, just waiting.
I gotta look up something real fast. The stealth mechanics in this game work well, but it's a little convoluted. It's the one thing I keep reading over and over, and I still have to read it over and over to get exactly how you're supposed to do it.
It does imply this kind of like quite fun cat and mouse you could do around areas with observation and stealth against each other.
Exactly. All these opposed checks. Okay. So I think, what did I say you're at overall?
At the moment, I'm at 0.
Okay. So go ahead and make that roll.
So again, no, I'm at a 1 because of the motion sense. That was it. Sorry.
Oh yeah, +1.
Oop, I'll push.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if you need to. Yeah, you get you got movement. What did I get?
You got 2 successes. So
Okay. Yeah, if you want to push, you can. You add a point of stress and do the exact same roll again.
3.
Okay. So
I will ask how many of them are there?
Sitka, you got just one signal, but it's right as Bryant reaches the door on the east side of the garden, and he goes to like push the button to open the door. Something unwinds from this foliage in the wall above him and goes to drop on him, and we go to initiative. But Noah spotted it in time, so it did not get its sneak attack on you, unfortunately. I think what we'll do, I'll just get the turn. Well, we're not going to get anywhere near through this fight probably, but we'll use our last 20 minutes to get through as much as we can.
This is a great cliffhanger.
You want to just stop there? Anybody else?
I think if we knew,
Okay.
if you want to do initiative and just know that Brian's going to act last.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's a good point to stop here, and we'll
Well,
pick
I
up
mean,
there
we-
next time.
We could do initiative, and then it's just ready for next time. Given that we've got 20 minutes left of the game, rather than I'm just saying I'm up for that. It's up to whatever.
Okay. Let me just get that out of the way. It'll just take a minute, and then we'll do our end of session. You know what? Actually, let's not do that. I'll just do it next time, or I'll set.
Cool.
I'll have it all set up for us next time.
Cool.
It's basically just me pushing a bunch of buttons. It's not very fascinating for anyone else. So let's do end of session. I think we'll do a little bit of stars and wishes. We haven't done that for a couple sessions, and then at the end of next session, we'll save some time for just kind of like BSing and stars and wishes also. But we'll take a moment to go around the table that way. So, but let's take care of like advancement first. So, Jamie, I know you haven't been here for a couple sessions, but what we do is there's 3 things you can do. You can change your buddy and rival situation. If through play today you feel as though any of you guys feel like any of your buddies or rivals have changed, you can certainly, we can talk about that right now. Sounds like it pretty much stayed the same as far as I could tell.
Yeah, certainly for me.
I'm changing my buddy to Sitka.
Who was it before?
It was Darius before.
Oh.
It's not that I have anything against Darius. In fact, I'm encouraged by his willingness to go and blow up the station and do what's right. It's just because I think Sitka needs looking after.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah,
And Darius,
I think mine also.
go ahead, Sitka.
Mhm. Oh yeah, because I remember. I'm trying to remember where I wrote it, but I remember that Brian was my buddy before. But I feel like I trust Noah over Noah's word over everybody else. I think I showed
So
that.
yeah,
a lot
go ahead and
today.
I don't think Brian is offended.
No. Yeah, Brian has definitely Darius, I get the sense, Brian has made it very vocal where he stands. And I think Darius, I think even Paul at the beginning today was like, Paul or Darius is kind of like the peacemaker or the middleman, or trying to keep it all together, keep the team together, keep it moving. I definitely get that sense. But you guys probably, like Noah was saying, you definitely get the sense that it's not like that Darius is bad or has done anything to Noah, but he clearly is under Brian's sway to some extent. And Brian, of course, has made it very clear how he feels about Noah. So that's the way I see it. So, okay, buddies and rivals. Then everybody can advance one of their skills that they've used today. So any skill you use today, you can add 1 just in that circle, change the number, increase it by 1. And then the third thing is that every other session, you guys can gain a new talent. And Sitka, this is your second session, so you get it. And then the other guys have completed 4 sessions, so everybody can gain a new talent today. You find your talents by going to the mechanics folder. The very first one is called character generation. And if you scroll down, you'll find the information for your class, or what they call career in this game. And it has the 3 talents that you chose from them in the beginning. You chose one of those, but you can choose one of the other 2 if you want. Or there's a long list of what's called general talents under advancement, which is the very last handout in the mechanics folder. And there's a long list, about 20 or so of those. You can look through those at your leisure. And see if you want to pick any from that list. There's pretty cool ones in there. I think Noah took fast reflexes from that list. And Alan, did you choose yours from that list too?
Yes, I think I did. I think that's where I got Nerves of Steel from.
Nerves of Steel, yep. So let's go around. Like I said, you guys can do that now, the talent, or you can take some time and figure out, which one you want to do, or we'll take a moment at the beginning of the next session. However it works for you is fine. I'm curious. Let's go around. And what skill did you guys add to today?
I added
Comtech.
observation.
Observation. What you got, Noah?
Comtech.
Comtech. Darius.
Is 3 the hard cap on it? Is it, or 2? Or
I think you can go
4?
higher than 3. Does it let you go higher than 3?
Unless you put it wherever you
I
want.
don't know. I'll put mine in
Okay.
range combat then.
It lets you put a 4 in there, or did you go to 3?
No,
No, there
I
you go.
put it in stamina, but no,
Yeah.
it will allow me to go to 4. So
Right.
4 in range combat.
4 is a very high number. I mean, you're like a master marksman at this point. And then Sitka, would you put yours in?
Observation. I feel like we're gonna need it.
Yeah, could be. Let's go around the table and just kind of quick and dirty stars and wishes. Let's start with Jammy. I know you returned after a break, but any highlights or things you'd like to see in our last session? Things you'd like to have run differently or whatever?
Yeah, I thought it was a really great session. It was a lot of fun. I like poor Sitka waking up going like, what's going on? I think I really enjoyed the combat. That was like a lot of fun. I feel like the system is really good at keeping it interesting instead of just like watching the dice. So I really enjoyed that. I also really appreciated the shift from one part of the story to the other. Now back at the station, it's really cool. I feel like this is a great. I know that you
Yeah.
made this adventure, right? Like, but I feel like it covers a lot of ground, a lot of the best that's Alien. So I really, really appreciated it. I think it's super cool, and I like this growing. I like how Noah lied to Sitka about what's going on with the synth. That was really fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. I don't have any particular wish about for the next session, but if
And
something comes
Alan?
up, I'll message.
Yeah, some stars. I think I did. It was that kind of sense of Sitka, kind of duh, but we were in the chalet. You know,
We were hunting.
hours
We were
have
gonna
passed.
hunt
Time,
stuff.
you know, how is that? And I particularly liked the Sitka. Why don't you go and help them, and then you let the synth do a run out? That was very smooth, and I liked the full auto from Paul. I think, you know, pinning it back against the wall. You didn't quite pin it enough.
True.
The point is taken.
Okay. And Alan, do you have any wishes for next time?
The only thing I'm thinking is that I think the combat was really good, but I think with lots of multiple alien targets, I think that slows it down. So I think probably a sequence of combats that erode us over time.
Yeah.
I thought, because the combat today went really kind of boop, really well.
Right. Yeah, it still took an hour, you know, so like, you know, like what you saying and what Jamie said, I agree completely. Like, I like the combat a lot. It tells a story, but it does take a little bit of time, you know, like it's not a PBTA, just one roll and you're done kind of deal, which, you know, we're playing 5 sessions, so it's okay to like, use some of the time for combat. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting. It's part of the, it's part of the genre. So, but yeah, to definitely keep it moving. Like I said, I feel myself rushing, trying to like keep it going because I don't want to eat up the whole session. So yeah, it's definitely a balance.
Well, for what it's worth, that didn't feel like an hour-long combat. I can't really.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It felt like 30 minutes at the most.
Yeah. I think we took a break shortly after. It was like 10:30. So yeah. Okay. Will.
Well, my stars are for having Sitka with us, my favorite part of the entire thing. And it was nice to see her push back against Bryant a little bit as well here, even just being purely competent at everything, which he's not. I love how fragile Bryant's ego is around that. And I love that whole rivalry still. And Darius, in many ways, is I think, more heroic than we may give him credit for until now, kind of thing. Gone from being gung ho to no, we need to solve this problem. Jason, the whole movement across multiple environments, the prep, everything, and now we're on a space station, which I will be perfectly honest with you, it's probably. I mean, I thought this the first time I sparked up Alien Isolation. I was like, oh man, this is just like System Shock 2, and I love this. Like being on space stations is always so fun in everything.
Yeah.
Paul?
Wishes
wise. In the mind of the combat, it wouldn't. I'm not sure this is so much a wish as maybe like a, but in a lot of the combat situations that we find ourselves in, with like the dropship, for example, it would have been a case of just run away from the thing that we need to get off the planet, or the tunnels. We were running away the entire time. It's just how it panned out. But I do like the whole idea of you run away and you seal the door behind you, or you find somewhere to hide, that kind of stuff. Maybe as an option, and even if it's only up to the individual to run away at that point, kind of thing. But also, I would, again, it's not a huge wish, but survivors are always fun in Aliens, right? Especially survivors who may have been at that town meeting down there in the bottom, if you know what I mean. But yeah, and that's it.
Right. You say maybe run into some NPCs?
Yeah, or
maybe
the difficult moral questions that we might face if, say, we rescued someone who may have been taken previously.
Right.
I think we all know where I'm going with that, right?
Sure. Yep. Okay. And Paul.
Yeah, I really like how the characters are knocking off each other, but there's still the overall mission at hand. So yeah, just how everybody's notching up the tension a bit. I'm purposely probably trying not to, but really, how everybody's playing off each other. But it's not PvP, so it's going up, but we've not hit some sort of PvP level yet. So thanks to everybody for pushing it, but not going mad. It's not a PBTA system, and things do take a bit of time in it, but there are some really good things. I think. Just the personal agenda. I think that really works great, and it adds to what I was saying about the tension. I'm still not too sure on some people's personal agenda, and I think that's a really good thing. Not knowing. So yeah, I really like that side of the system. Very good.
Right. Yep. I to echo that, I think I think very quickly everybody got into the flow of this game, and it's gone really well in the sense that we have covered a ton of territory, but not get bogged down in any one spot, because there is a lot to cover, like you guys were saying, like changing scenes, changing where you're at. There's a lot of movement that we've had in this, but everybody, I think we've kind of all got a nice flow, and there's plenty of room for all you guys to have all of your extremely interesting interactions. It's really nice to have Jamie back today. It's just nice to have Jamie regardless, but it does give Noah someone to balance. Poor Noah. Like last time, several times I was like, oh, poor Noah, because Bryant and Darius less so, but Bryant, the two of them were teaming up on him horrendously. Wishes wise, yeah, I'll think more about how I like what you said, Will, about having some NPCs, to give you those moral dilemmas. There are spots already, but yeah, definitely maybe I'll push for that. And then how we handle combat, especially if there's multiple targets. When you were gone, Jamie, we had a fight with, I think there were 3 xenomorphs, and yeah, it took quite a while. It took longer than just the one, which I guess you would kind of imagine. But
they're tough. They're really tough.
They are very tough to take down.
Right.
Very tough.
Yeah, I think the only time so far I've had that many was when it was like a little face hugger, so
right,
it doesn't last as long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't think of anything else. So thank you very much, everyone. Next week we will have our finale, and I guess that's it. Have a good week.
I cannot wait for the finale. So many
Yeah,
secrets.
it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I love this.
Have a good one, folks.
All right.
See you
See you
guys.
next time.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.